During this holiday season, give your loved ones a gift that keeps on giving for the rest of their life. Torpedo Pot is the only affordable self-growing flower pot that ensures your future food survival. All you do is add soil, seeds, and seedlings to the flower pot and watch your plants grow. Torpedo Pot can grow nutritious food in such abundance and variety that you can produce more food than your local farm. Visit www.torpedopot.com.
China is turning Africa into a military base. China's Navy is eyeing the use of ports abroad, including on the Atlantic. When China began building its first overseas naval base in 2016 in Djibouti on the Horn of Africa, China's officials tried to allay Western anxiety by their country's expanded military footprint. They said the outpost was only for supporting multinational anti-piracy efforts, helping to secure vital shipping lanes and enabling China to protect its citizens in the region. 5 years later, the facility in Djibouti remains the Chinese armed forces' only foreign bastion. The Chinese officials are quietly looking at the possibility of building more. In November, the Pentagon's annual report on China's military power identified 13 countries where it believes China has probably considered locating other bases. They range from Tajikistan in Central Asia to Angola on the Atlantic coast of Africa. American officials believe China has made secret basing or port access agreements with several of them, including Cambodia and the United Arab Emirates. It may help China that there are nearly 100 civilian ports overseas in which it has some say as an investor or operator. The Center for Strategic and International Studies, a think tank in Washington, has identified nearly 50 ports in sub-Saharan Africa where China is involved, sometimes just in building work. The Center for Strategic and International Studies says China may use them to increase its military and political reach. On December the 5th, the Wall Street Journal said China wanted a naval presence in Equatorial Guinea, citing American intelligence reports. A base there would give China's Navy its first permanent foothold on the Atlantic side of Africa. It would be nearly 10,000 kilometers from Washington, but officials there still worry. In October, the American government was spooked enough to send John Finner, the Deputy National Secretary Advisor, to visit the tiny oil-producing country of 1.4 million people and advise its leaders to resist Chinese overtures. Mr. Finner is believed to have told officials in Equatorial Guinea that allowing China to open a base would raise national security concerns in America. China is becoming a more adventurous naval power. It has dramatically beefed up its fleet this century. Amazingly more ships, though not more tonnage than America's Navy, but most of these vessels keep indoor Pacific waters. It is unclear whether China has military ambitions further afield. The Chinese Navy cannot hope to sustain an Atlantic-facing armada that would rival that of America and its allies, whose ships, bases, and supply lines dominate the Central and North Atlantic. It may be that China's reasonings for wanting more access to ports for its navy is much as it described in motives in Djibouti: securing shipping lanes for Chinese trade, fighting piracy, and protecting Chinese citizens abroad. The navy began to feel a more pressing need for far-flung bases in 2011 when it helped conduct an emergency evacuation of 30,000 Chinese citizens from Libya as that country descended into civil war. In the past decades, China's growing demand for imports ranging from oil to copper and the expansion of its commercial activity abroad has increased its concern about keeping trade routes safe. Until the pandemic struck, it had 1.5 million workers in foreign countries. Chinese military white paper stressed a need for the Navy to protect such overseas interests. But there may be other considerations. Chinese military analysts openly advocate pushing into water far from home to divert American attention and resources from Chinese waters, writes Ryan Madison of the US Naval War College. He notes a book by Hu Bu of Peking University in which the author acknowledges that China's navy could not compete with America for supremacy for far away seas, but suggests it could pin down some American forces that might otherwise be sent to East Asia. Mr. Mason also cites Li Zhu, the captain of China's first aircraft carrier, the Liaoning, who wrote in a well-publicized essay in 2017 that the farther away we are from our territorial sea, the more secure we will be the motherland behind us. Establishing bases facing the Atlantic would certainly get America's attention. But Arthur Cardon, a colleague of Mr. Madison at the Naval War College, notes China's leaders have not parroted blustery rhetoric about tying down American ships. They would prefer to set up bases without antagonizing America. As it appears, most countries are reluctant to rely the United States by hosting Chinese forces. Agreeing to Chinese base would be a transactional arrangement, doing little to improve the security of the host. Unlike America, China disapproves of alliance and abhors the use of its forces in any combat role in other countries' conflicts. The Gulf of Guinea would be a logical place to look for a base. Piracy is a scourge there, as it is in the Gulf of Aden of Djibouti. So China could possibly urge that its help is needed. A Chinese company has built a deep-water commercial port at Bata in Equatorial Guinea. It could adapt that for Chinese warship, and the family-run dictatorship in Equatorial Guinea happens to be the sort that China is well practiced at doing business with in Africa. Brutal, corrupt, and in a financial shambles. The International Monetary Fund approved a bailout in 2019. It was an unexpected reversal for fortune for Theodore Ngwenwa Abieng Mong, the vice president, who is also the president's son, to receive Mr. Fina in October. In recent years, America and its allies have confiscated allegedly ill-gotten luxury assets from him, which America says it is using the proceeds to fund COVID-19 vaccine and other medical aid for the country. The vice president posted a video clip on the meeting on social media and another in which he expressed gratitude for the diplomatic gift he had received in connection with the visit, a silver platter with a presidential seal. A Chinese base at Bata would probably pose a little serious threats to America, says Mr. Cordon, unless it was to include a facility for Chinese submarines. But building one would be virtually impossible to conceal. Equatorial Guinea would be unlikely to risk America's anger by letting China do so. No clear evidence has come to light that China has any such intentions. A week after Mr. Fina's visit, China's President Xi Jinping talked by phone to his counterpart, Theodore Obiang Nguyen Mbasongo. Chinese officials said Mr. Obiang described China as Equatorial Guinea's most important strategic partner. On December the 7th, his son, the vice president, tweeted a response to the journal's story about the base. China is a model of friendly country and a strategic partner, but for now, there is no such agreement, he wrote. He quickly added, remember also that Equatorial Guinea is a sovereign and independent country, can sign cooperation agreements with any friendly country. American officials may want to schedule a follow-up trip indeed. Well, there is a popular wise man African proverb that says, where two elephants fight, it is the grass to suffer. In this case, when America and China all keep arguing but on African soil, it means America and China are the two elephants that are fighting on African grass, and hence it is the grass to suffer. What do you think, brothers and sisters? My name is Osie The Born Child, and thank you just so much for watching. Until next time, I'll be seeing you in another video. But hey, don't forget to subscribe.
Living in America as a black person, you recognize there is one set of laws for you and one set of laws for those, especially in the white community. In our book, Passive Aggressive Racism in the System of White Supremacy, I take you through times in my life when I first started noticing white supremacy. We teach you how to recognize it, identify it, and also counter it in our book. This book is a beginner's course for those that are just starting to wake up and open their eyes to see the system of white supremacy. As a black American person, you must understand this system because this system is life or death to you. How you handle it, how you deal with it, it can affect your mental health if you don't understand this system. Pick up our book, Passive Aggressive Racism in the System of White Supremacy, today on Amazon.